Welcome. I'm Amy, an intuitive spiritual teacher, peace minister, healer, law of attraction coach, pet psychic, true love guru, and your biggest cheerleader. Serving the whole world from my headquarters in Texas, I'm here to guide and empower you through this great awakening in truth and consciousness. Join my private membership association today at awakenedalliance.org, where you can purchase an emergency, video, or remote reading. Join my Daily Boost subscription for extra energetic support. Ask a question on my Ask Amy Q&A, including True Love Spreads. Talk with other like-minded people in my forum, or even sign up for personal mentoring. Always check beneath my videos for my latest links and timestamps, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful day. All right. I am going to explore something with you guys, just my process of what I've been going through these last few months when it comes to nutrition and eating, things like that. I know that every single one of you has a different opinion of what you should eat and drink and everything else. Even if you're in a certain classification, even if you're a vegan, you guys will still have different things that you do that others don't and whatnot. So, as many of you know, but not everybody knows, I went through a fast. And can I just back this up by saying I used to be like the last person on the planet. Gosh, all these bells and whistles going off. See, spirit is confirming this. I would have been the last person on the planet to ever talk about nutrition and food, and especially fasting. Oh my gosh, if anybody said that word, I was out of the room so fast. Like I was like, don't even mention that word. Because it sounded like the worst torture in the world for me. It sounded like the worst thing anybody could ever do. And I was thinking, anybody who fasts is stupid. Like, who would ever, starve themselves to what I didn't, for spiritual reasons or whatever? Why don't you just enlighten? You don't have to starve to enlighten or whatever. So, we all go through our times of having these strong opinions too, and having resistance to things because we're just not ready yet. I remember even hearing about how chickens were tortured and in these mass-produced ways. You don't want to eat chicken because they have the and the beef are filled with these antibiotics that are horrible for you. And just so you guys know, too, fruits and vegetables grown in the ground also have antibiotics just as much as beef does. Just thought I'd throw that new information out there that I just realized. It just dawned on me. Actually, Dr. Berg mentioned it in one of his talks. So you're not going to escape it unless you're in some way out in the middle of nowhere land that's never been touched. We're going to be, and even then, it's probably been touched by chemtrails and stuff. We are surrounded by what these idiots have done to try to pollute us and destroy us, honestly. And it's outrageous. And the more that you learn, it's just like, wow, this really is a game of survival right now, and has been for quite some time. And I just want to say that as you're going forward and discovering some of these things, keep an open mind. And I know I always say open heart, open mind, but I was tested a bit last night because I watched the sugar film on Amazon Prime. And I think on Netflix, okay, anyway, I watched the sugar film and I was like, wow. I mean, the effect of sugar on your body is outrageous too. I mean, you may as well just inject yourself with the V. You may as well just inject yourself with some kind of massive poison. I mean, and we're coming up on the holidays, and it is the time where we get polluted the most. and by these yummy disguised, they make things sweet and tasty so that we'll swallow it, right? So, um, I I have a box of truffles, chocolate covered blueberries, dark chocolate raisins, almond roca. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, orange peel, dark chocolate covered orange peels in my fridge right now, waiting for the holidays. And I was trying to figure out like how do I delve this out? I was like, this is all I'm gonna get. And I got it now just to have it. and, and I was like, so maybe I'll have, I just been trying to figure this whole thing out. Just trying to figure this whole thing out and yet wanting to enjoy my holidays and whatnot. Then I watched that sugar documentary and I was like, well, shit. I gotta either throw all that out or like, or I'm gonna keep those freaking boxes around for like 10 years, eating like one or two a year. ah, and then I was like, all like a friend told me about the starch solution, and I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing because you get to eat potatoes or rice and pasta. So you do half your plate, all these starches, and then the other half of your plate is vegetables. And I was like, that sounds like heaven to me. That sounds wonderful. And all these people are losing weight on it, and they're doing really well. And I was like, but how is that possible? Because Dr. Berg talks about how bad the starches are for you. People will there's so many different ways you should eat potatoes, and they're rather particular about it. Don't have peels. Make sure that the potatoes are always cold if you eat them. And you're just like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, okay, well, keto's the way to go. Keto's really the way to go. That feels like the healthiest thing. But then you can't eat chicken. Chicken is so polluted, you guys. Look at Dr. Berg's channel or just put Dr. Berg chicken and you won't eat chicken again. And it's not, and like I said, I used to turn, well, maybe I didn't say it yet, but I turned a deaf ear to anybody who was ever talking about the abuse of animals and all that stuff, because they were always so raw about it, and anybody who acts like that, I'm like, whatever. They're just people who like to be angry and they're picking a subject to be angry about, or what. I truly did. I just totally dismissed it. Like, whatever, these people are ridiculous. These people who are talking about that stuff. So just being completely transparent here. So many things, people, chemtrails, all the stuff. I was one of those people who wouldn't listen to any of that nonsense. So I'm just so grateful that, okay, so I'm getting back around to the point of that I watched the sugar film it's called. And I was like, wow, my eyes were really opened to just how quickly it destroys your liver. I mean, just like immediately, practically, like within 2 days, of eating sugar, it's bad. And we have so much sugar in our diets that the guy that did the documentary didn't even eat sweets. He ate fruit smoothies and yogurt and Gatorade and just typical stuff that all of us eat or drink on a regular basis, even diet foods, like foods that, you should be eating when you're trying to lose weight, or you should be eating when you're trying to work out, and that type of stuff. That's all. He didn't have any like donuts or chocolate or any of the real good stuff. And he had a hard time keeping it to the average because it was so easy to go over. And so then I was all about keto. And then I was like, then I went and I looked at this other doctor. I was looking for I don't know, I forget what I was looking for, but I ran into this documentary called for that what the health. And immediately when I started watching it, I was like, this is the bad guys' agenda right here. They're trying to make it look like, this is scientific evidence and all this kind of stuff. And I immediately had my hackles up and I was like, I'm not going to watch this BS. But I challenged myself. I said, I am going to merely watch as an observer, and I'm going to take in any new information I feel is actually something that's beneficial or helpful. So, and when I watched the guy have a pretty open mind and kind of go down the trail of what's going on, and when he started figuring out that, like the Breast Cancer Institute and stuff, like all the, they tell you there's all these studies that show that eating a certain food is going to immediately, give you breast cancer pretty much. Or, or the Diabetes Association, there's all these foods that are proven to like give you diabetes very quickly, right? And these companies putting up all these recipes for those very things. So like promoting the bad stuff that causes you to go get sick and have the thing so that they can then give you the remedy for it, or, continue to fuel the pharmaceutical industry and whatnot. So I liked that he wanted to explore that part. I ignored what I didn't think was relevant, but also kept an open mind because I think we have to do that right now. They're trying to confuse us so that we'll just give up and say, I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want to. I'm going to go get a big old bucket of KFC and just eat whatever. And just F it, and just like don't even care anymore. Look, if you're going to F it, if you're just going to F it and put your hands up at anything, if you do that, then the best thing you can possibly do is not eat. And I am a full-on testimonial of that. I can vouch for that. I can recommend it high and low. I mean, I can tell you that fasting, which I now call healing is the very best thing you can do to not digest anything. Like, don't like any food anyway. Digestion is the biggest distraction for our healing. If you're eating 3 meals a day or snacking throughout the day, you're screwed. I'm telling you, you're screwed. You are or are going to be very sick, most likely. And I don't care what kind of diet you're on. Your body is producing way too much insulin, eating that much and eating that frequently and whatnot. If anything, we should be eating 1 meal a day, and it should be a healthy meal, a good meal. So, and I do eat meals now. Well, just to backtrack to explain what I did on my sabbatical was I went 7 days without food or water. It was hard, but I made it. I did it. And I was really proud of myself. And then I went 21 days with just water and juice. And I had some incredible things happen, some very beneficial healing things happen through that time. I was really excited I was so relieved because I've had skin cancer for years, and I would always have to use some kind of device or use black salve or use whatever to try to get rid of it. And it was time consuming and very discouraging to have to do it over and over and over. So I have this again. I got a bump again. God, it starts to get incredibly frustrating and really discouraging. Like I said, you really rely on other people who've had it to talk about it with, because they understand how horrible it can be. Sometimes, I think one of my breakouts was like, I think 50 bumps, something crazy like that. And I was, dabbing stuff on all of it, right? But after I went through the fast, all of that was gone. And then after the fast, going into like normal life, I guess you would call it, except never going back to 3. I will never eat 3 times a day. That is absolutely freaking crazy. Your body cannot heal from anything if you're eating that much. That's just, it's taxing your body way too much. So anyway, I would go, I would go like I don't know, I was eating like 2 or 3 days a week, but I wasn't going by any particular diet. I was eating some unhealthy stuff too. And I was trying to experiment with how things made me feel because I didn't want to just take anybody's word for it. I wanted to actually try stuff and do stuff. And I found water retention with some things. Then I found out what water retention was and what it's caused by. And then I would go to, this, and then I would go to that, and then I'd do some research on that, and then I would find out about this. So the whole thing was really an experiment. And then I decided to go through it again to do like another 21 days. And that's been quite an experience, but it's to the point now that if I get a cancer bump, it disappears usually overnight. I'll feel it like before I go to bed, I'll find it and I'll be like, "Ooh, there's a bump." By morning, it's gone. So it's so much easier. It's so incredible. And then I just have to, now I'm coming up with what I'm going to eat when I do eat that can actually keep me in a state that hopefully will keep those cancer bumps from even coming at all. So, yeah, you gotta look at everything very objectively. And even if I come up with the absolute perfect thing, which is maybe 4 days of fasting or healing, and then 3 days of eating one meal a night, that for me feels ideal right now. And there are tricks that you can do to help yourself because I'm one of those people who, once I have dinner, then I'll be like, "Ooh, and let me go get this. Ooh, and let me go get that." And while I'm watching a movie, I'll snack on this. So I'll snack like the rest of the night. So just moving my dinner to like 7 o'clock, you want 3 hours between when you eat dinner and then when you go to bed. So I've been trying to watch when I go to bed so that I can reverse it by 3 hours at least. And then I'm gonna eat my dinner at that time, and that way, and I'm gonna eat a really good big meal, one big good healthy meal. Now what that meal is going to consist of at this point in time, I have no freaking clue. I really don't, because I'm bouncing back and forth on all these ideas, and I'm doing all this research. And there's Dr. Jason Fung, Fung, who also talks a lot about long-term fasting. And I've dealt with parasites. So on top of all of this, I'm trying to get rid of parasites once and for all as well. And I've got a protocol I'm about to follow soon that's going to wipe those little suckers out. So it is a discovery process. And even if I figure out the exact perfect thing that I'm just like, okay, this is the key to life. Like, this is absolutely perfect. Have half a potato, half an avocado, half vegetables, half this, that. Then even if I come up with that, it's not going to be what's right for you. Sorry. Because you're a different body type. You have different stressors. You have different blood than I do, most likely. And you've got like everything, everything varies. So you really do have to, I have been relying heavily on God through this time. Because I've been like, okay, so if I do the starch diet, does that mean that I have to do this, or do I do this first or do this after? Or when I do the parasite cleanse, should I wait until after I'm done fasting, or should I do it while I'm fasting? So learn what your yes and your no are. Those are the most important intuitive tools that you've got. And how you do that is, first off, there's the body pendulum where you just relax and you stand upright. And then you think of the question. And then if you're pushed forward, that's a yes. And if you're pushed backwards, it's a no. It is pretty reliable. And then some people will sit down and have a divine guidance council, which I teach you how to do here on YouTube. So you can put in the search, Amy Satori, divine council, and it should come up. And I teach you all the kinds of tricks in there as to how to talk to your spirit crew if you want to go even deeper than that, which would be amazing. Um, and basically, you just say, Spirit, can you please show me a yes or a no? And, for me in particular, a yes is up in the left corner and a no is down to the right. So, but they can also show me a yes or no. They can show a yes right in front of my face or a no right in front of my face. Or I can feel an energy kind of coming at me like, stop, like, no, that kind of thing. So practice your intuitive skills through this time, and it'll really help you. Every time I go to reach for a bottle or whatever, I'll put my finger on the cap. This, and I'll get yes or no. This. I was taking a little bit of salt, and I was taking like a teaspoon, and I was like, gosh, I have to like gag this down. It's really hard. And you have to be very careful what kind of sea salt you use too. Now I'm using Dr. Berg's sea salt, and I'm also using his electrolytes. And it's really made a difference. It's really helped with weakness and energy and stuff like that. So I recommend those. So what was I going to say? That basically, oh yeah, the yes. If you get your yes or no down, you can touch a product, or even think about it in your mind and say yes or no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And like I said, with the salt, that's where I was going. I was like, could I just take because it helps with like muscle weakness and whatnot. And sometimes in the morning, I'll go to do my qigong, and I'm just like, I don't have the energy to do this. So then I thought, well, what if I take and the electrolytes the second I get up, and I take like a half teaspoon of salt, and then I take a half teaspoon later in the day. And God was like, absolutely. So I bought a second thing of salt, a second container, or a second bag of salt. So one's out in the kitchen for the evening one, and then one's in my bathroom for the morning. So when I first get up, you pee first thing in the morning, I'll look over and I'll see the salt and the electrolytes, and I'll just down them really quick and go back to bed and look at my text messages and look at, just kind of stretch for a while, wake up. By the time I get up out of bed, I'll probably feel just fine doing qigong and whatever else. Otherwise, you get up and you're walking around, and then you take the stuff, and then it takes like an hour to take effect, and then you can do the qigong or whatever you need to do. So, and for that matter, because I have my strength back up and I know how to handle it better, like there are certain things that you should take, like those two things when you're fasting, that'll just help support your body. Not that you'll need them forever necessarily, like the breatharians, like Ray Mayer, people like that. They never took anything. They don't, and they never do take anything. And your body will adjust to that and start taking care of itself. It'll start, creating its own salt and bile salts and whatever else that it needs. But you just got to be really careful, because there are so many people who have issues already. Like I had a hypoglycemia. So, did I let it get in my way? Hell no. So whatever label you have, oh, I have hypoglycemia, I can't do that. Yes, you absolutely can. You just have to push through and be really determined. And your body will heal your liver and your every single part of your body, but it takes time. It takes time. And, you start seeing more and more results as you go. So I'm probably going to be fasting more than I am eating. And I'm really shocked that I'm actually living this way, but it feels really good. I feel light. I'm in a good mood all the time. I don't get, there's, you feel really good about yourself, and you change your habits, like, having a snack while I watch my romantic comedies to relax at night or whatever. Now I'm just sipping tea, and it's nice and it's relaxing. I got my little candle going and whatever else. I make it a really nice atmosphere, and I'm enjoying myself. And I was like eating out of boredom or just out of habit. So there's so many things that you realize. And like I had said in a prior video, like driving around, looking at fast food, you just start to look at the fast food places and just see them as they're just places. They're just buildings. They have unhealthy food there to try to kill us. So I don't think I want to eat that. But you can look at it however you want to, but try to make it just totally neutral. For that matter, so I talked to somebody who died, and they had so many memories in that certain town with all the different stores and stuff there that they used to go to with their husband. And I said kind of the same thing, like just make it neutral. They're just buildings. They're just there. They could be gone tomorrow. They don't mean anything. They're just, if you're present in the moment, those things don't, we only suffer when we're not present in the moment. So always remember that too. If you're ever suffering, go, oh, maybe I'm not in the moment. Let me go back into the moment and feel my body, feel my breath, feel the aliveness in my body. Try to make myself light up like a light bulb with my energy, focus on that, cultivate that instead of all these stories that are meant to drag you down and make you suffer. Don't stay in the suffering. Change your focus. Learn to quickly change your focus to your body and your breathing and your energy and being a light bulb kind of thing. I was going to say though, that I took some time off and I wasn't going to do the Q&As and wasn't going to do my remote readings for a couple weeks because the last time that I did this, I was weak, not realizing that the muscle weakness comes from a lack of salt. So yeah. So now I'm feeling better and everything. So I can go ahead and do that. So if you guys want to book a remote reading, you can do that. And the way that you do that, and a 20-minute remote reading is $111, and a 45-minute remote reading is $222. So what you do to order that is you go to awakenedalliance.org, and then you pay $22, but you get $22 back immediately to place toward your first order. So become a member first and foremost, because you have to be a member in order for me to do a reading for you or anything else for you, if anything professional. And then go to services. And then you just click on whatever you want. You can do the Ask Amy Q&A on the services page. You can do an emergency reading. I have those available. So, yeah, obviously if I have something happen, then I will always update when it comes to the Q&As, the Ask Amy Q&As. I will always update the description because I try to tell you guys, like, if you order between this date and this date, then your video is going to come out on this date. So I spell it all out for you there. Always make sure that you read that, because if I go into a time where I am starting to deal with something and it's difficult or something like that, I will tell you guys, look, I need a week, so if you order here, it's not going to come out till like 2 weeks from then. So pay attention, pay attention to the details, because I might change them. So when you go to order, whatever you see under there, I'm going to stick to that. That's going to be it. What else? I guess that's it. So don't go around telling everybody, be on this diet. This is the best diet for you, because it may not be. Always be open to new ideas. Don't be stubborn. Don't say, well, I've already found the best thing. I'm not even going to think about or listen to that. That's just stupid. Don't do that either. Like just say, okay, tell me about that. For that matter, it could be any subject we're talking about at all. Going forward, we're going to have so many people with so much mixed information. And why not just listen? Why not just take it into consideration? It's only going to add to your information in your toolbox, and it might correlate to something else you hear that might be good advice for somebody else. It just wasn't for you. There's so many different opinions and sources of those opinions that it's just endless. So try to contemplate all of it and keep it open. Abraham Lincoln had some kind of really cool quote about that. Like, a mark of intelligence is to be able to consider everything and only pick and choose that which actually resonates for you or feels right for you. So whatever I'm going to do going forward is going to be something that I feel good about, that I feel like this is the right thing to do for my body. It aligns with me. I don't care if anybody else judges it or care or wants to fight me about it or tell me that I'm doing the wrong thing. I don't care. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for a love of myself. And nobody else even needs to know what I'm eating or what I'm doing. It's none of anybody's business is their own. Everybody needs to mind their own business unless they're asked for advice, unless you elicit that advice. So, try to keep your mouth shut too. And we have a lot of information, but, generally speaking, unless somebody comes to you and says, hey, could you help me with this? I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Or you could even ask them, do you want to know what I think about that? And if they're like, yeah, then tell them. And then you can even preface it with, this is only my opinion. You don't have to take it on for yourself. You do your own research and take a look for yourself. And as I've been going through this and bouncing back, now I have keto cookbooks and I've got like starch solution cookbooks. And I'm like, well, if I end up going keto, then I guess I'll just adjust with this. I'll use the same recipe, but only put this in and that. And I'm just like, oh my Lord. But I'm also gathering information about this over here, and whatever feels not so right to me over here, I come over here and I do research there about that, and vice versa. So I'm trying to look at it from all angles. I mean, one of the what the health people that were interviewed in that movie said, for example, vegetables have protein. I've never heard that, but it made sense in the sense that, like, all these animals that we eat, like the horses and the cows and everything, they all eat grass and they're really strong. And there are vegans who are running triathlons and in weightlifting that are stronger than they've ever been, eating meat and stuff. So you're like, that's some pretty good evidence right there. But, I mean, and the starch solution people, you don't know. They may be losing weight like crazy, but you don't know what the shape of their liver is. Nobody that I ever saw put up some scientific information. And most scientific information out there is false and made up. Or as Dr. Berg said, what did he call it? He said, when you look into he does a good talk. I think it's called like meat versus vegetables or something like that. And he says that most of the studies that the experts say or rely on, like if you ask them, well, show me the study, they either won't be able to find the study, or the study is based on what do they call it? Gosh, it's basically when people just kind of weigh in their opinion, or it's very general, it's very vague. And they'll say, like, what have you been eating for the last month? Like anybody remembers what they ate for the last month, or maybe they write it all down and stuff. And then they say, meat is the problem. Oh, this is the problem. Fat is the problem, when it wasn't at all. Like it's not really analyzed in a detailed scientific way. Like it's not really, it's what do you call it? I don't know. It's not very valid. It's not very valid, and it's not very solid. And there are not, there's nothing like an actual proven really good quality report done on those things. So you really have to and a lot of these people are paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars to tell you what they're telling you. And they're fine doing it because they feel like they're protecting their families, and that's all they care about is them and their families. They're like, they're giving me $500,000 to keep my mouth shut and to tell you this line of baloney, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it really convincing. I'm going to be the best actor ever because I love my family and I want them to survive this, and I don't really care about anybody else. Anyway, It's so sad. This is also why we need to not be selfish like that, why we need to care for others. If we truly love ourselves, which those people don't, but if you truly love yourself, you do care enough for others. So the whole key is to love yourself. The reason I say he doesn't love himself is he's in total scarcity. He's just scared and fearful. Whoever he or she is, they're just scared and fearful, and they're just yeah, they're in a very negative space. They're definitely not loving. You brought them to the mirror and told them to look themselves in the face and say I love you, they would never do it. They wouldn't. They could not do it. There just would be no way. And that's what happens when you don't love, is you close up everything and you gather only that which is your possession around you. That's it. And that's all you care about. So love yourself, make decisions that make yourself proud, make decisions that resonate for you. Look at the bigger picture. And for those of you who are like, how are you doing this? You have so much willpower. It's not willpower. I'm just loving myself. Honestly, it's like when I took a look, I swear to God, with all the truffles and everything that I love, now it's in my house. Lemon tarts. Oh my God, lemon tarts are my favorite. I've got lemon tarts ready to go. I can make them right now and stuff them in my mouth, and they'd be so delicious. But when I look at it, I'm like, I've made so much progress. My liver is happy. My heart is happy. All my different organs are functioning. My skin is soft. My cancer is totally healing overnight. Do I want those little miracles to go away because I wanted the taste of something right now? Or to put off my healing, like drinking a bunch of alcohol, Bailey's. I love Bailey's, and I love the eggnog that comes out in the holidays. But do I want to jug that down and then wait a week for my poor liver to get over it? Maybe sometimes you do that. Sometimes you're just like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to make sure that I leave a lot of time in between for healing afterwards, or before or whatever. It's going to be like, boom, here, body, take this. And I'm going to lovingly support it through it. I'm going to be like, all right, we're loving this Bailey's. We're loving this Bailey's and truffles. Yes. And I'm going to do all the healing I can on it. And I'm going to neutralize all the toxins that I can and bliss it as it goes down. It's going to be a whole ceremonial thing because I'm going to love and support my body as best I can. And you got to look at the bigger picture too. What do I want my health to be in the long term? How do I want to feel about myself? Do I want to say that I struggled with this and made all these excuses up and did this and that, and now I feel like shit about myself and I'm eating 10 times more than I was because I'm feeling bad? Do I want to go through all that? No. I want to feel good about myself. And so I'm trying to make decisions sometimes you have to pick yourself up here to a higher level and look at your life from a giraffe's perspective. Look at it all and just be like, where am I going? Like, what is it that I'm ultimately wanting to accomplish here? And am I doing things that line up with that ultimate goal? And am I doing things that are staying within my integrity? And am I doing things just for me, just for the love of me and my body, not caring about anybody else's opinion in there at all? And am I supporting myself? Basically, is this aligned with my greatest good? So, and if I'm not sure if that's the case or if I'm doing the right thing, God, thank you so much for showing me the truth in all things. God, thank you so much for making it so obvious to me the direction I need to go in and the foods I need to eat that are best for me. Thank you, God, so much for reassuring me that the track that I'm about to take, the path I'm about to take is the very best possible path for me to be the happiest and healthiest I can be. Just and keep checking in with God on a regular basis using your intuition. Okay, so we have an Ask Amy Q&A today. We have one. She got it in there, and she was Bless her heart. She thought this was going to be not coming out until November 10th, but she's got a little surprise today and she gets to hear it now. Hang on just a minute. Yes, this is still my hibiscus and tangerine tea. It's just wonderful. I love it so much. Oh, and I just felt one of you asking, like, what are you taking right now? I have had digestive issues. I mean, according to my DNA, I had it examined by a nutritionist, like a naturopathic nutritionist, a long time ago, like over 10 years ago. And she was just like shocked that I was even walking around like a normal person because she said, according to my DNA, I should be obese, like 350 pounds at least, because my digestive system was pretty much like almost zero. Like like, yeah. So I keep telling my digestive system, you guys are a miracle. You're just a walking miracle. You guys are so beautiful and so sweet and so strong. And look at all that you've overcome. And, but we do have some issues. And talk to your body like that. Talk to your body like a child. And it just heard me say that. And just like cats or children hear you say things, sometimes they're just like, they feel bad about it. So I'm just like rubbing my tummy right now. Like, it's okay. That's just what somebody said about you. It's not true. It's not real. And it does listen to you. So they're just like, okay, I can feel my cells relaxing. Like, yeah. It's just, we're proving them wrong. They just said back to me, we're proving them wrong. Absolutely, honey. You guys are doing so good. So talk to your cells, talk to your cells, talk to your intestines, talk to your body. Anyway, so that's what the reports say. That's what the paperwork said, according to my blood. So, I do have some issues sometimes. So I am taking, a gallbladder formula from Dr. Berg, and I'm taking, a bladder solution that's bile salts. 3 times a day. I'm about to go on a parasite protocol. I don't know the name of it, but it has all the products that Dr. Berg recommends for parasites. And I'm going to take that for like 40 days or so. And then what else am I taking? I stopped taking the apple cider vinegar with fresh squeezed organic lemons because I found out that it changes your pH and it kind of screws up your system if you're fasting. Only if you're fasting. So when I'm eating, it'll be fine to take it. But so I was like, oh. So I stopped taking that. I am taking Dr. Gundry's olive oil, and that's actually the way that olive oil is supposed to taste, is a little bit bitter. And it tastes good to me now. But at first, when I tasted it back when I was eating, I didn't like it, but I like it now. So I take that, and to digest the olive oil best, I use the gallbladder formula afterwards. So in other words, I treat it like it's a meal. It's a tablespoon of the olive oil, and then I have the gallbladder formula after that. I'm no longer taking the castor oil. What else am I taking? I'm just drinking tea all day. Green tea is wonderful for you to take. There's peppermint green tea. There's all these different flavors of green tea, which is cool. And I'm using the hibiscus and tangerine. I drink seltzer water or club soda. I am only drinking distilled water. I won't drink any other kind of water, even my club soda or my seltzer water. Most of it is my distilled water. I have a container that I fill up with my distilled water, and I just carbonate it. Trying to think like throughout the day, the different things that I take and stuff. I guess at night I take some kind of a sleepy tea to help me sleep well. That's it. That's all I'm doing right now. And I'm doing great. Like, I'm doing really well. I have a cancer sore that popped up that seemed to concern me a bit for a minute, but I did end up putting some black salve on it just because it creeped me out. It was really weird. It was different than the others. And I was like, it was like moving around, and it would flatten, and then it would heighten, and then it was like It was just proof that parasites are in a little bag, because it totally seemed like a little bag that was morphing and moving and doing all this weird stuff. And I was like, this is tripping me out, man. I just got to like get rid of this thing. So I'm going to expedite the situation, expedite this healing and removing of these parasites. And I put black salve on it, and it just healed up very rapidly after that. It was just, I guess my body just needed that little push it over the edge kind of thing. But I was this close to actually going to a gynecologist that was like, that was on our side, that was like more natural. He would have been more about natural products and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm going to have the faith to deal with it myself. And I'm going to use that black salve and just see what happens. But it's been healing very, very quickly, very, very quickly. And silver, I guess I sprayed silver on it after the black salve too. So I guess I've been putting silver on me too. But I think that's it. I hope I don't think of anything later and then it's like, oh shoot, I forgot to tell them this. I don't think so. I think that's it. And yeah, it's just a matter of just getting used to not eating. And yeah. Oh, if you ever do go on it, for those of you, because I've heard you guys, some of you say that you're inspired by this and that you're going to try fasting yourself. I'm so proud of you. Just push through the first 3 or 4 days. You're going to be hungry, but just tell yourself that's either parasites or ulcers can feel like hunger too. So just be like, it's just a sensation. And just push through it, and just be like, it'll go away, and it will. In about 4 days or so, the hunger goes, and you're good. Then you're good. Then it's just a matter of getting out of the habit of what you were in the habit of doing. So you can switch it up. You can like when you watch movies at night, watch them in a different place, or whatever you were tempted with, like put all that stuff away or get rid of it altogether, or donate it to a women's shelter. Do whatever you feel like doing with it, but switch things up if you have to, if you have to. And then just say things to yourself like, it's different now. It's different now. I don't need that anymore. That's not necessary anymore. And just remind you, it's really just about self-awareness. You just have to be paying attention to yourself and not be on autopilot. And it's, in a way, it's like a death. You know how when somebody dies, it's like you want to go call them and tell them news, and then you're like, oh, they're not there now. It's kind of like the same thing in a way. It's like you go to have dinner. Oh, dinner time. And then you're like, oh, it's not dinner time. There is no dinner anymore. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, it's tea time. Now it's tea time. So I sometimes I'll go to the fridge around that time and I'll be like, oh, and now I do it at my new dinner time on purpose. So I'll go at my new dinner time, and I'm like, what can I do to really make myself feel special tonight? What particular tea do I want out of all the plethora of uncaffeinated teas that I have here? And I'll just make it really special. Like, oh, I could do this one or that one. And, oh yes, this one's from France. And then I have seltzer water if I want to do that. Or I've got this, and also I'll look at all my different options I have. This feels wonderful to me. I'll just grab that and I'll go sit down with it. So make yourself feel good. Don't create stories about, oh, I'm suffering. This is so hard. And I used to be able to have, don't do that stuff. You're just, you always got to choose those positive thoughts. You choose those negative thoughts. That's a negative AI, and they're going to take you down every time. So don't even pay any attention. You got to be strong. You got to be mentally strong. You got to turn everything into a positive. All right, again, so let's get to the stupid reading. Yeah. Okay. And it was so funny. I have a zapper. I don't know if some of you don't know what a zapper is, but it's basically, it puts electricity out through your body. It kills parasites, supposedly. I've never really seen much happen with them, but they also stimulate good, healthy organ function as well. But I have one of my clients, she's very sweet. She made me a little belt to hold the little zipper device on. So it's kind of like, I guess, what do you call those things back when they had those old fashioned cell phones that you could have on you, clip on you or whatever. Anyways, a belt, and you could put the zapper on it. And I went to put it on, and it had this huge gap. I mean, it was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how many inches I've lost, but it's been quite a bit. Because I mean, if I would have just dropped it, it would have fallen right to the ground. It was that much. And I looked down at my pants, and my pants were pooling. I'm like, I gotta be, and I've gone down a pound size at least. So I may have gone down even more than that, but I'm comfortable with what I'm wearing. So I'm not gonna, I don't, yeah. Until my pants actually, well, and they do fall off sometimes, but when my pants really start falling off, that's when I'll do something about it, because I don't want my pants falling off. Okay. And I'm not in a hurry to lose weight either, because I'm committed to this, and that part's inevitable. And then I'm going to have to do something to actually try to gain weight so I don't look sick. I don't want to be a skeleton either. I used to look like I was anorexic back in high school. I think I was 113 pounds. I actually had some bullies, some really mean girls in the locker room that used to call me anorexic. I didn't even know what the word meant, but I was really hurt by that because they sounded so mean when they said it. And I've always thought maybe that's why I gained weight later in life, is, subconsciously I was like, well, I'm not going to be anorexic. Okay, anyway, I get to blabbing sometimes. It's a good blabbing though, isn't it? Okay, 5217. 5217. All right. So what hi Amy. May I have a true love spread for me and my soul flame blank? If you guys put their name in, I'm not going to mention it. So you can feel safe to put their name in. And she did. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, like, you're protected. I'm not going to say their name. I'm just going to say you're masculine or blank or whatever. Ooh, he wants commitment and he's spying on you. All right. What's he truly thinking and feeling about her right now, please? What's he truly thinking and feeling about her right now, please? What's he thinking and feeling about her for real in the 3D? What's he really thinking and feeling about her right now, please? Please, if you are interested in true love and you think if you're in a confusing relationship with somebody, like, or if you're feeling like, I don't know why they're ghosting me, we have such a connection, he told me he loves me or whatever, and it's confusing and you're just left like stumped and like, I don't get it. I thought he liked me. Please go to my playlist all about true love and spend the time to go through those videos and watch them. Or even if you're just you're feeling lonely, and you want to date, you better be aware of the different types of love out there, because you don't want to get sucked into a trap. You want to make sure it's a true love, like somebody who would be good to you. So watch, at least if you're a member, then go to my video tab and watch there's like only 3 videos, I think, in my love section. So watch all three of those videos and you'll be pretty educated. If you go to the playlist, then just look for any of the videos that say all about true love. And I don't care how old they are, years old, it's the same old song and dance, guys. Don't even worry about it not being a present thing. It is a present thing because it never changes. Trust me. Okay. All right. So, I mean, he's seeing you as being somebody who can totally take care of yourself. He's thinking of you as very magical. He thinks you're really, like, you have sound advice, a good mind. You're high society. You got it going on. You can take care of yourself. You're independent. You're sophisticated. Like, he thinks you're a classy gal. And he also feels like you might be really successful. either now or later. Like he's betting on you as to like she would be good to team up with or partner up with because she's going to be going places. So, but I don't feel like that's why he wants to be with you, but but he knows that you would, you're going places. He wants to get unstuck, and when he does, he's going to feel like celebrating. He might also be thinking of asking you out on a date, and he's going to be celebrating that. He may ask you to go for drinks, and it might be with a group of people. He might be pretending that it's like, oh, it's a bunch of us just going out, just to keep it lighthearted and not to put too much pressure on himself or to avoid the pressure or something. But either way, he's still driving it forward any way that he can. In his heart space, he loves you. You have the king and the queen of cups. That's a lot of love. And that is both of you knowing that you love each other equally. And even if you're hiding it from each other, or one of you is, or something like that might be going on, but either way, it's mature, it's compassionate, it's loving. When I just cleared my throat when I said compassionate, pay attention to when you guys clear your throat and what you're doing at that moment. Compassion. I don't feel he feels he's given you enough compassion. So he's working on that. But he wants a new passionate start. He's also pictured having sex with you, and he doesn't want to have missed out on that at some point, but he is also seeing that as an expression of love. So it's like he doesn't want to move on from you, not having expressed how he feels for you, and in the way that is physical. Let's put it that way. He also wants to work with you or just cooperate with you. If you've been trying to get him to do something, then he's feeling like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it because I want us to work together. Let's be a team. In other words, like, let's be a team. There are also maybe other people who are encouraging him with you, telling him, you're going to miss out on the best thing that's ever happened to you if you don't go for this opportunity. And he realizes that, even though he feels like sometimes he blurts things out that could hurt you, he's working on changing that. He's also been watching you on social media because of his fears and his insecurities. But he wants to turn that into some communication, some honest communication. He does actually want commitment. He wants the traditional route with you, and it's like it feels like he's kind of a romantic. Like he wants to tell you how he feels about you, then ask you to be his girlfriend. Something about it kind of feels like he'll be climbing a mountain, though. I don't know what the mountain would be. Maybe we can look at some masculine cards if I have them here. I do. Okay. So he misses you a lot because he's been hiding from you out of defensiveness. But there could also be there are people who are rooting for you, and then there are people who are against you guys. So he's fighting those people who are against you, and maybe even lies are being told about you, and he's saying that's not true. He does sometimes feel like you're too good for him. Of course, they all feel that way. Everybody in true love feels that way. That's a good sign to know if you have found a true love, is both of you will feel like, no, they're too good for me. He's afraid you could find somebody better. Who doesn't feel that way? That's why we always, like, when we're dating, we look at other people as, oh shit, they're a threat, We always think that way. We're always thinking that somebody else could be better because there's always something new, better, younger, firmer skin, more, I don't know, taller, shorter, whatever. There's always these comparisons. But, once you guys settle in and have that trust and rapport going, that's what's going to be what really matters and bonds you guys. I feel like such a coward. I'm so discouraged by my people pleasing. It's a hard habit to break, but it's time. But I know that it's time. So he's working on his people pleasing right now. I'm working on or planning a surprise for you right now, and I don't want you to know about it. Although I just told you don't know details though. Despite how anything appears, I'm faithful to you. You haven't hold my heart. Well, there you go. But he hates himself right now, and he can't very well accept your love when he can't love himself, but he's working on it. So he's really working on himself right now. I cry myself to sleep and toss and turn over this. I miss you so much. It's killing me not to reach out to you. I love you so much. So all of that is torturing him right now and getting him ready to come to you. His limiting beliefs are evolving. He's becoming more open-minded. So just let him keep working on himself. I wouldn't reach out to him because he's not going to come to you until he feels more confident and feels better about himself, you know. So just leave him alone. Let him go through his processing. Work on any insecurities that come up for you. Yeah, just take really good care of yourself. The more you can let go of him and the more you can just tend to yourself and your own life and get happy and get in your flow and do your magic in your own special way. And you almost forget about even the even concept of dating, you know, then the better, because then he'll sneak up and surprise you and you're going to be so blown away and excited. So take any kind of pressure off of him and just leave him alone, and anybody else for that matter. Just leave it all alone. Put it way back there, like I put the truffles. Put it way back there, and just don't even pay it any never mind right now, and just focus on you. All right, so I want to get some advice for you. Okay, so what do you want to tell her, guys? Learn to be more fluid and flexible rather than only seeing the things the way that you always have. It's time to evolve past this. Congratulations. Maybe you're already doing that because they're saying congratulations, you're leveling up right now. They could just be giving you a pat on the back for that. So let go of what has been and allow new to come in for things to be as smooth as possible going forward. If you were someone else, what would you think of your life? So this is kind of going back to the giraffe, right? Where the giraffe, and I had a giraffe on my screensaver when I first came on. Maybe look up the giraffe and see what it means. But yeah, just pull back away from the situation and apply all those things that I was talking about earlier. Like, is this where I'm going? Is this what I really want? What do I want in my future? How do I want to feel in the future? Who could I be with that would help me achieve that goal? I think it's time to make that move. What are you waiting for? Just do it. I feel like that has something to do with something you've been wanting to venture out in with your work. No harm can come to you. Don't worry. Go forth bravely and boldly. We're all just a work in progress, so cut yourself some slack. Self-love is the nucleus of all that is good. All right. So if everyone wants to just relax, drop your shoulders, we're going to do a general blissing. As long as it's for everybody's highest good and honors everybody's free will, then this will be amplified for you. And please keep praying for and manifesting the new pristine earth. Imagine Costa Rica, but without any kind of buildings or anything like that. Just lush meadows and forests and bushes, and just aid Mother Earth in replenishing herself. Okay. Mashashina taike hela anse sena po amoha aken. Halapin chichipin ulo moan. Tite laki en sahse. Haishishin ke time. Hala po mama ana te inse. Shala mama ana te kena ai. Shela kit in that tains and see she la uma ana ai. Hey. All right. Have yourselves a beautiful week. I'll see you this time next week, same time. Go ahead and submit a question. Just go to my services page in my website. You have to become a member to get onto the service. I'm repeating myself just in case somebody missed the beginning. Go to awakenalliance.org, pay $22. You get it emailed back. You get the $22 back on your first order. You go in as a member and you order. You go under services, and then you go under Q&A, ask Amy, and you order it. And so go ahead and do that, and I will get to your questions next week. All right. Big hug to you guys. Bye.